Coming to you live from the Mclean Daily Minutes.
Yeah.
What's up, y'all? Today we're going to talk about football. Oh, not that kind of football. That kind of football.
You're high, King. All right, Cash. Set. Up.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Mclean Daily Minutes. Whew. Okay, it's a good thing I don't play football because I don't want to show these kids up. But, you know, today I'll let it go. But anyway, today we're just going to talk to you a little bit about playing football, playing for the team. Same team. Playing for the same team. Making sure that we know what's going on. Making sure we know what team we're playing for, what sport we're playing, and to make sure that we know what plays we're playing. So, anyway, today we're talking about football. Were we talking about soccer? Were we talking about North American football? So, that's what we're going to talk about to you today. And
So just make sure, hey, we got a big team, guys, and you need to look at your team, see who's on your team, evaluate the people that's on your team. If you're the sharpest dude on your team, find a new team. You need to have people on your team that you deem that are sharper than you. Maybe it depends on what you're playing. Hey, right? Maybe we're talking finances. Maybe they're sharper in finances. Maybe we're talking marketing. Find somebody sharper than you in marketing. Maybe we're talking spiritually. Find somebody sharper than you spiritually.
maybe like a coach.
There you go, a coach.
There you go.
Hey, coaches are awesome. We love coaches, right?
Coaches, mentors, teammates. Because, you know, I mean, I've seen teams, all kinds of teams, and they have some real camaraderie, or either it can be completely ununified. And if it's completely ununified, you can tell because you don't win and you don't play good.
That's true. And you got to kind of make sure that you know what game you're playing, right?
Yeah, that's important.
So, are you kicking the soccer ball or are you throwing the football? Does the person on the other end, do they know they're supposed to be receiving, or are they trying to just take the pass from the soccer ball so they can kick it on somewhere else? So start off with your team and make sure that you're playing the same game, right?
Yeah, that's important.
I think a lot of times there's mixed messages about like what kind of game we're playing.
Yeah.
Like you know, if I'm trying to lead my team this way, but they think I'm talking about something else, then we're just going to run in circles. And I'm expecting the ball to go one direction, they're going to throw the ball in another direction, or they may even be trying to kick a ball when I'm expecting a pass.
Right.
They may be playing the wrong football.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
That's we just want to make sure that first of all we're playing the same game.
Yes.
That kind of helps when you're playing a game.
That does help.
I got to keep watching, so I know the ball's gonna come flying at my head here in a minute. So.
And then you got to know that you're playing the right plays.
Oh, so you got not only is it the same game, but you got to have the right plays.
Exactly. I mean, because like if I don't know much about football.
When you was a center, tell them about when you was a center in football, when you played for the...
Okay, so anyway, all I know is, like, when they're throwing the ball, you better be able to catch it at least. And then you got to know which direction you're running. Is that true?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, because, like, if I'm catching the ball and my end zone is that way, and I catch the ball and I turn around and run that way...
Yeah, we're going to have a little bit of problem.
There's going to be a little bit of problem. So... knowing the game, what game you're playing, knowing the play, and knowing which direction you're going.
That kind of helps.
Yeah, that's super important.
So, all right, so we gotta know what game we're playing for starters, because
Right.
I think just because people are they see each other all the time, and maybe they talk all the time, even within their group, they may be playing different games, right?
Yeah, they haven't talked about it. They haven't discussed it and got it figured out exactly.
Yeah, they're not on the
what's
same
going
page.
on. Right.
So make sure that wherever you're heading in life, that the people around you are heading in that direction, or it's going to be like the oxen. You know, you're trying to walk one way and the ox is trying to walk the other, and you're not going to go nowhere, right?
Right.
All right. Secondly, make sure that when you're in that game, that you're calling the right plays, and we're all on the same play. So we know where we're all going. And then thirdly, let's make sure that whoever's calling the plays have called plays before.
Ooh, good.
Come on.
Okay, so I have a question. If you're watching today and you like football, then put football in the comments, because I like to watch it, but that does not mean I really know what's going on. But I'm talking about North American football, like the kind you kick and you throw it. Well, I guess, yeah, you don't throw the soccer ball.
No, you don't throw the soccer ball.
So that kind of ball, the brown one, that's the kind of football I'm talking about.
So, if you prefer American football over what the rest of the world calls football, we'll call that soccer, then just type football. You know what I'm talking
I'm
about?
sorry.
These jokers done, I don't know, I think they're playing a little bit of both back here behind me. So
anyway, then third, for real. Third is to make sure that the people that are calling the plays have called the plays before.
that's right. Make
So,
sure
good
whoever's
coach.
calling the plays have called the plays before. Hey, and you know, what I've realized in my own life is just because I've done a little bit of playing, and just because, you know, I've thrown a ball and I've done some blocking and I kind of understand, doesn't necessarily mean that I've laid the game plan out before and I'm calling the shots, right?
Right.
So in my own life, I'm looking to other people who've already called the shots,
Right.
who've already ran that race, who have a better understanding than I do, and that's usually called a coach.
Or a
Right?
mentor, yeah.
Or a mentor, that's right.
Right.
So Coach Fryer, Coach Funk, Coach Dietrich, you know what I'm talking about? So we look for these guys.
Coach DeBoer.
Coach DeBoer, that's right. Coach DeBoer, that's a good one. So, and it just depends on what it is that you're doing. Find somebody who's done that. Find somebody who's been successful. And usually more than once would be
Well, that's a good idea.
a good idea. So find
Not
somebody
to
who's
say
twice,
that-
maybe three
yeah.
times.
But it's a great idea to have somebody that has done it before that can actually guide you, because they say don't work hard, work smarter, not harder, which means that if you go by other people's experiences, you may not necessarily have to experience those things if they were not good. So if you go by a coach or a mentor who's done it before, then they can kind of say, if you go that direction, the outcome is not going to be exactly what you were looking for.
At least the edges will be a little smoother, right?
Right.
So there's two ways to learn. One, you can just be hard-headed and bounce off the walls. Or two, you can learn and listen from somebody who's done it and run straight down the field, not bounce off the walls, right?
That's right.
And not that you're not going to have adversity, not that there's not going to be people in your way that's trying to stop you over the length of time it takes you to get where you're going.
But you're focused.
That's right. You're focused. You know where you're going, and you've got somebody coaching you and cheering you on
right.
as you go about that thing. And instead of just beating your head against a wall time and time and time again, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, I think they call that
Insanity.
Yeah, that's called insanity. So we don't want to keep you guys long today. We're fixing to go in here and get ready and go to the gym and tear this thing up, and we might even play a little bit more American football before we get out of here. But we just want to say, hey, get in the game, and get in the game with some people who are in the same game you're in with, and let's run this thing. Let's do this thing called life. Let's enjoy the journey, and let's be successful and get where we want to go. Right?
Sounds good to me.
Anything else? Because we had the camera turn around backwards. We can't tell who's on and who's not on, and I got to walk all the way around there and turn it off.
Well, and I want to say this too. If you know how we normally sign off, and you're ready to join in with us on that, put that in the comments.
Drop that in the comments.
What do you think that is? Drop that in the comments. What's our sign off every single time?
And if you think, if there's just a little bit of value to what we're doing, if just a little bit, if you could take something from this, or maybe somebody who could take something from this, tap the share button. You could do it live, or you could tap the button in just a few minutes. Those of you that's going to come on and watch this later, leave us a message. Share it in there. We like to have the help get the word out.
That's right. All right, guys.
You know what we say? Peace.
Be better.
Be better.
Be better.